Hey everybody, we are making these Starbucks Copycat Cranberry Bliss bars today. So these are pretty easy to make at home. I had one of these at Starbucks last week and I thought to myself that I could make this at home. So that's what we're doing. So pretty easy to make, not a ton of ingredients. And these are going to be a nice little holiday treat to have here. So making the Starbucks Cranberry Bliss bar. So let's get started. All right, so we'll get started with our Blondie batter here. So if you're not familiar with a Blondie is basically a brownie without cocoa powder. So very similar. This is a bar cookie, and this only has a couple ingredients, so pretty easy to make. So we're using our stand mixer for this. We're going to start out with half a cup of granulated sugar, and then 3/4 of a cup of packed brown sugar. So to that, I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of softened butter. And I'm just going to use my regular paddle attachment here, and I'm going to mix this on medium speed for about a minute, just until our butter and sugars have creamed together. All right, so this is what our batter looks like. So now we can add 2 eggs to this. And I'll go ahead and mix this up again just until our eggs are incorporated. All right, so here's what our batter looks like with those eggs in it. Now we can add our dry ingredients. So in this bowl, I have 2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and then half a teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to add this in increments, so I'll do about half of it. Right now, I'll get this mixed up, and then I'll add the other half. All right, so here's our Blondie batter. This looks good. So now we can add some fun stuff in here. So we're adding half a cup of white chocolate chips and then half a cup of dried cranberries to this. And I'm just going to mix this until everything's incorporated. Doesn't really take too long, and then we'll add some orange zest. So our cranberries and white chocolate chips are all incorporated there. That looks good. Now we're just going to zest an orange. So I have just a regular kind of medium-sized navel orange. And I'm just going to use my microplane here and just take off the very top layer of skin on this orange here. And this orange, I think, will get probably maybe a tablespoon of zest off of this, which I think is going to be a good amount for our Blondie batter. So I'll finish working on this, and then we'll get this incorporated into our Blondie batter real quick. All right, so all of our batter is mixed up here. It's looking good. So I have prepared my 10-inch cake tin that we're going to be using, and I've lined this with parchment paper because once our Blondie bakes, I want to be able to just lift this right up out of this pan. So I don't want to have to pry it out or anything. So that's why I lined it with some parchment paper. I did put some cooking spray on there too, just as an extra precaution. So now we can just kind of take our batter here and get this smoothed out. And I have my oven on at 350, and this is going to bake for 35 to 40 minutes or so. And you want to make sure your Blondie is baked all the way through. So you can go ahead and use a cake tester to make sure that it is baked all the way through. So I'll get all of our batter out of our bowl here, and then I'll smooth this out real quick. And we'll get it ready for the oven. All right, so here it is, ready for the oven. Like I said, we're baking this at 350 for 35 to 40 minutes. Then I'll let it cool down completely before we put our cream cheese frosting on the top. Okay, we're back. Our Blondie is out of the oven. It's cooled completely and it looks really good. So now we're ready to do our cream cheese frosting. So I have another bowl over here. I have an 8-ounce package of softened cream cheese in there, and then 2 cups of powdered sugar. I'm going to add about a tablespoon of milk to this. Kind of like that. And I'm just going to use my hand mixer and get this all mixed up until it's nice and fluffy. And then we're going to add a little bit more orange zest to it. All right, we got our cream cheese frosting mixed up here. So now we can go ahead and pour this out onto our Blondie, and we'll kind of work this around a little bit. Okay, and I'm just going to use an offset spatula here, kind of smooth this out a little bit. Okay, this looks pretty good. We'll get this smoothed out and then we'll get ready to decorate this. All right, so we got our cream cheese frosting on there. I realized I forgot to put the orange zest into my cream cheese frosting, so we're just gonna put a little zest on top here. So I'm going to zest about half an orange here, so this should be about maybe a teaspoon or so. We'll just add this to the top instead. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. And you can just kind of sprinkle it on here a little bit. I think that looks pretty good. All right, now we'll do some cranberries and white chocolate chips. Okay, now we're going to do about a quarter cup of just white chocolate chips all over the top here. If you wanted to melt these down and drizzle these on the top instead, you could totally do that. That's how Starbucks does it. But I just didn't really want to take the time to do that, so we're just going to do this here. And we'll also do another quarter cup of dried cranberries here too. These kind of stick together sometimes, so you might need to separate these out. And after I get these on, we'll get this cut up into some wedges because that's how Starbucks serves it. And we should be ready to plate these. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. All right, here they are all cut up on the plate. I got some more over there. So we have 16 servings in total. And these look great. They smell really good, nice and orangey. And this will be a nice little holiday dessert to have here. Very easy to make, and I will put the recipe down in the description like I always do if you guys want to make these at home. Otherwise, I hope you guys like these, and I think these are way better than the Starbucks version. So we'll see you next time.